Howdy. Okay, so I received all the complaints about Bitcoin going down and the whole crypto market. So I took a little break from a holiday and I went to go look at the code and I hit the reboot button. So things should be on its way back up now, but okay, obviously just jokes aside. Okay, I have no control on the price, obviously. But I want to quickly tell you a story about my journey when I first got started. It is probably very similar to where you are right now in the early days. But back in 2017, when I first discovered Bitcoin, and before I even actually understood what it was, I just saw this risky assets and all I wanted to do was just buy a little bit, $1,000 just for fun, watch it go up, and then sell when it's at a profit. And if it goes to zero, then so be it. But before doing that, I decided to investigate. And I'm so glad that I did. Because without that investigation, without the computer science background that I have, without the knowledge of understanding what it is, what exactly is Bitcoin. Because I mean, it's very confusing to the newbie, to the person who's just into the market, or here's this virtual currency, this Bitcoin that you can't feel or touch. It's very easy to just completely ignore it and just think, what is that? Yeah, I'll just throw in $1,000 and just see what happens, right? But luckily I didn't do this, and I realized this is going to be absolutely revolutionary. So I started piling in just my $1,000 that I had first told myself. That was roughly between $2,000 and $3,000 per Bitcoin. Now back then, that seemed super expensive. Everyone was like, "Oh my goodness, you're buying it so expensive. This is ridiculous. It's gonna crash. It's gonna go down to $100. It does all these crashes." And the funny thing is that the light bulb hadn't officially clicked for me just yet. I thought it was a revolutionary technology, but I didn't realize the entire impact that this was going to have on the total global financial stage. So what I did was I continued studying. Now remember, I started off with just a measly $1,000. I started doing the 2017 screech up towards 20,000, and finally, when the bulb had clicked, when the light bulb had switched on in my brain, and I realized that this is going to be revolutionary, I was now starting to pile in a lot more at the $10,000 mark and the $12,000 mark, and so it just continued going up and up and up. And everyone was saying, "Greg, take out your money. Greg, take out your money." And I said, "No, you don't understand. I don't think that this is going to be the final bottom. I think that it's going to be continue being volatile, but at some point it will be higher in the future than what it is today. Don't look at the price today." And what happened? It hit the top. It hit 20,000. Everyone said, "Greg, sell, Greg, sell." And I said, "Yes, I probably could sell, but that is not my intention. My intention is for the long term. You don't know in the short term whether it's going to go down or whether it's going to go up." So what I did was I held on and I painfully watched it go all the way down to 3,000. Now remember, even though my initial purchase was roughly at that price, the majority of my bulk purchase was at the $10,000 mark. And so for my entire Bitcoin portfolio to be more than a 75% drop, it was extremely painful. Everyone was laughing at me. Everyone thought I was an absolute idiot. Everyone was like, "You should have sold at the top. You're a complete idiot." And I just ignored them. You have to put aside the ridicule. You have to put aside the emotions, because I knew confidently that people were going to slowly start waking up. And the most important thing to understand is the adoption curve. Forget everything else. None of this mumbo jumbo, head and shoulders patterns. I've mentioned it before. Never ever look at the Bitcoin price and say, "Oh my goodness, it's going to the moon now. I better jump in right now." If you see it increase at that alarming rate, it's most likely not sustainable. And so the best thing to do is just buy on a regular basis. Just DCA, dollar cost average. On a regular basis, purchase, and that's all you got to do. It's as simple as that. And overall, you will likely come out on top. Now again, this is not financial advice, so definitely do your own research. I'm not telling you what you should do with your money. Seek financial advice if you want that kind of information. But what I'm telling you is just my opinion and my confidence that in the future, we will see another price of Bitcoin that is far higher than what the previous all-time high was at $69,000. So I have no shame. I am continuing to enjoy my life. I am continuing to... Now, look, let's just quickly say one thing. when you're on a roller coaster, if you're on the roller coaster every single day, you might start getting used to the ups and downs. But let me tell you, you still have to clench your stomach when you're going down. You still have to clench your stomach and your muscles when you're going around a corner at 5 Gs, or 10 Gs, whatever the speed is. So what I'm saying is that, yes, this is still affecting me in the sense of, like, how do I tell my family that I'm still okay? How do I tell my friends and family who actually started purchasing all the way up? Because, of course, that's when people start noticing it. That's when people start buying in. So the majority of the people who actually started reaching out to me, unfortunately, most likely in a loss at the moment. But this is your tour. I did in 2017. This is where your tour begins, and this is where you just have to wait it out. If you sell, my opinion is that you're going to be kicking yourself in 4 or 5 years, maybe even 10 years. Now remember, Bitcoin is a long-term strategy story. You don't just click your fingers and all of a sudden the whole world has adopted Bitcoin as a monetary standard. No, that's not how it works. So when you see it screeching up like this, maybe take a break. Maybe say, you know what, is this sustainable? Are there people, are the retailers, getting in too hot too soon? You have to ask yourself these kinds of questions and think logically through the situation. I'm not going to also tell you that I knew exactly what was going to happen. I did say that I have a prediction floor model, an adoption floor model of roughly between 18 and 22,000. Could it go lower than that? Absolutely. It definitely, with everything else that's going on in the world, it absolutely is possible. But again, you have to keep asking yourself the questions. You have to zoom out and look at the big picture. What is going on in the world? When you see all the nonsense, all the wars, the currency wars, the supply chain issues, all of these, this nonsense of infinite money printing, you have to sit back and actually ask yourself the question, is it logical? We just had another all-time high, well, when I say all-time high, in terms of 8.6% inflation in the US. This can't be sustainable. This is not a sustainable system. So why is everyone panicking about Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets when we really should be panicking about the fiat system? That's the system we should be panicking about. That's the system that is guaranteed to fail at some point. Guaranteed. So I feel far safer with ownership of my coins in my own wallet and in my own custody. I would do this any day. There's not a chance I'm going back into fiat currencies. It's just not happening. So again, diversify. So not everything should be in cryptocurrencies, but this is my game plan. You don't have to do what I'm doing. In fact, I highly recommend you don't do what I'm doing. Once you've studied and gone into depth on the entire economic stage, everything, the stock market, the property market, what the Federal Reserve Bank is doing, what the currencies, the countries and the currencies around the world are doing, and you study cryptocurrencies, make a decision that will suit you. The decision that I'm making is to take a very strong stand in Bitcoin. That is my long-term game plan. I'm looking at 5 years, I'm looking at 10 years, I'm looking at maybe even 20 years. Not tomorrow. And so it is okay. Now, again, another thing I want to talk about is having emergency money on the sideline. And what does emergency money mean? Because I've had a family member who had an emergency injury and unfortunately had to sell their Bitcoin at these levels to pay for that emergency surgery. And this is extremely painful for them. My heart goes out to them. I don't want to say who it is, but what it is to have emergency money. So when I say I've gone mostly in Bitcoin, I haven't gone 100% in Bitcoin. You have to have enough money on the sideline that can last you at least 6 months to pay for your living expenses, as well as at least a $10,000 emergency fund, or at least an emergency fund that suits your country. Whatever that emergency situation could be, that's what it should cover. If you cannot do that, then you probably should not be investing in probably anything. So get that right first, build up that savings, make sure that you've got that buffer, then you can, so again, at least 6 to 8 months of salary to pay for your bills, and at least a $10,000 or equivalent of your country's, whatever the equivalent would be, of emergency expenses, whether it be a car accident, or whether it be an injury, or whether it be some unforeseen taxes that you had to pay, or whatever the emergency expenses, you should be able to cover that with your emergency funds. And that is usually in the currency that you're operating in. So that is my advice to you. Have the emergency funds and sit back and enjoy the ride. That's all you gotta do. Is it nerve-wracking? Yes. I'd be lying to you if I told you I'm 100% relaxed. No, my stomach is clenched. Every now and then, I feel like I'm gonna vomit. But you have to sit back and still enjoy life. And here's another thing. Just know that even if I'm completely wrong, which is very possible, no one is 100% certain. Even if I could be wrong, you can always get back up on your feet. Continue educating yourself. You are your number one priority for investing. Invest in yourself. Once you've invested in yourself, even if you hit rock bottom, even if you hit the big fat zero, with the investments in yourself, you can get back up on your feet and do something to make a living and to make things work. Never throw in the towel. Never ever say, this is it, it's over. If you're in trouble, these are dark times. You know, I'm trying to make less of the moments. I'm okay, but I can imagine that there might be a few people out there that maybe over leveraged or maybe went all 100% in, can't afford that emergency fund. These are dark times. If you need help, please drop a message in the comment below. I will try to do what I can to help you. There is this will be a laughing moment in the future. Never give up, never throw in the towel. Things can always move up from here. They could also go worse, but remember, as long as you're breathing, there's always a chance. That's all I wanted to say for today. Enjoy life, you only have one of it. My name is Greg. Leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe. And I guess I will see you around.